Did you know that 85% of people believe they are not creative? This shocking statistic comes from a study by Adobe, which found that many of us think creativity is a rare talent reserved for artists and innovators. But here's the truth. Creativity is not just for the few. It's a skill anyone can develop. Imagine a world where everyone feels free to express their ideas. A world where every small thought could spark something amazing. The reality is, you don't need a wild or crazy idea to be creative. In fact, many successful creators started with small, simple ideas and built them into something great. In this video, we will explore surprising strategies that can boost your creativity. From breaking down the myth of the big idea, to designing a routine that supports creative flow, each chapter will reveal how you can unlock your creative potential. We'll dive into real-life examples, research-backed tips, and practical techniques that will empower you to think outside the box. So, if you're ready to discover how to unleash your inner creator and change your perspective on creativity, stick around. You'll learn that with the right mindset and tools, creativity is not just possible, it's inevitable. Let's dive in. Chapter 1. The Myth of the Genius Spark. Debunking the big idea. Obsession. We've all heard stories about a brilliant idea that sparked a creative revolution. Think Newton and the apple or Edison and the light bulb. These stories make it seem like creativity is a sudden, magical event. But here's the truth. Creativity doesn't always come from a crazy, game-changing idea. In fact, research shows that most creative breakthroughs happen gradually, not overnight. A study by the Harvard Business Review found that 72% of people who had successful creative moments didn't rely on a eureka moment. Instead, they built on existing ideas through small, thoughtful improvements. One example? Steve Jobs didn't invent the smartphone. He simply refined the concept of mobile technology that already existed. Rather than waiting for an unpredictable stroke of genius, focus on incremental progress. Creativity is more about nurturing and refining ideas than chasing after one big, groundbreaking concept. Best-selling author Austin Kleon, in his book Steal Like an Artist, suggests that nothing is original. Instead, you should collect ideas like a curious thief and remix them in your own way. The bottom line? You don't need a wild idea to be creative. Start with what's already out there, tweak it, and add your own touch. Small improvements can lead to big outcomes. Chapter 2. Remix and redefine why stealing ideas, the right way, makes you more creative. Let's get one thing straight. Copying isn't bad when done the right way. Picasso once said, "Good artists borrow, great artists steal." He didn't mean rip off others. He meant take inspiration and transform it into something uniquely your own. The truth is, creativity often thrives by building on what already exists. Think about how hip-hop was born from sampling existing music. Artists like Kanye West made careers by remixing songs, turning them into fresh hits. A study published in Nature showed that 95% of the most influential scientific papers borrowed heavily from past research, modifying existing ideas to make them better. Look at Apple, for instance. The iPod wasn't the first MP3 player, but Apple reimagined it with a sleek design and easy user interface. That's how creativity works. You find something that inspires you, and you add your personal spin to make it better. So don't be afraid to look for inspiration in other people's work. Keep a swipe file, a collection of ideas, quotes, images, and anything else that inspires you. Then, when you sit down to create, draw from that collection and remix what you find. This is how you take ideas from good to great. Chapter 3. Constraints fuel creativity. Limitations. Your secret weapon for innovation. Most people think creativity needs total freedom to flourish. Ironically, too much freedom can be paralyzing. Ever stare at a blank page and feel overwhelmed? That's because unlimited options often lead to decision fatigue. In reality, constraints, whether they're time limits, budget restrictions, or specific rules, can actually boost creativity. A study conducted by the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that when people are given fewer choices, they generate more innovative ideas. Why? Constraints force you to work within boundaries, sparking creative problem-solving. Famous architect Frank Lloyd Wright often imposed limits on his designs, believing that an architect's most useful tools are the eraser and the limitations set by the client. Consider the filmmaker Robert Rodriguez, who made his first movie, El Mariachi, on a shoestring budget of $7,000. The lack of funds forced him to be incredibly resourceful, using everyday objects as props. The result? A cult classic that launched his career. Similarly, deadlines can push you to be more creative. Parkinson's law states that work expands to fill the time available for its completion. By setting a strict deadline, you force yourself to focus and think more creatively to meet that goal. Even a simple 30-minute timer can spark new ideas by making you act decisively. Remember, limitations aren't a hindrance, they're an opportunity. Instead of viewing constraints as obstacles, see them as creative fuel. If you're finding value in this content, don't forget to subscribe for more insights on unlocking your creativity. Chapter 4. Routine is not the enemy. How daily habits unlock creative flow. Most people think creativity is random, like lightning striking out of the blue. But actually, creativity thrives on routine. Best-selling author and researcher James Clear, in his book Atomic Habits, points out that you do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. In other words, if you want to be creative, build daily habits that support your creative work. Famous creators like Maya Angelou, Stephen King, and Haruki Murakami are known for their rigid routines. Murakami wakes up at 4 a.m., writes for 5 hours, and runs 10 kilometers daily. The reason? Creativity isn't about waiting for inspiration. It's about showing up consistently, whether you feel inspired or not. King famously writes 2,000 words every morning, whether it's a masterpiece or not. By making creativity part of your daily life, you give it space to grow. And guess what? Research backs this up. A study by the European Journal of Social Psychology found that it takes about 66 days on average to form a habit, but once you do, it becomes automatic. When you make creativity a routine, it stops feeling like a task and starts becoming part of who you are. Your routine doesn't have to be extreme, though. Even setting aside 30 minutes every day to brainstorm or sketch can lead to major breakthroughs over time. The key is consistency, not the size of your effort. So, if you want to be more creative, focus on developing habits that prioritize your creative work. Creativity comes from consistency, not chaos. Chapter 5. Creative by Design. Engineering creativity through simple systems. Believe it or not, creativity can be engineered. It's not just an abstract talent, it can be built into your workflow. When you set up systems for yourself, you remove friction and make it easier to be creative. Take the example of the Eisenhower Matrix, a system that helps people prioritize tasks by urgency and importance. It's not just a productivity hack, it can be a creativity booster, too. By using tools like this, you clear mental space for creative ideas. When you design systems that eliminate distractions, you can focus your energy on what really matters: creating. David Allen, author of Getting Things Done, emphasizes how mental clutter blocks creativity. He suggests writing down every idea and task that comes to mind in order to empty your brain. By doing this, you're not constantly stressing about remembering things, which frees up brainpower for creative thinking. When you don't have to worry about the small stuff, your mind is more open to new ideas. Environment also matters. Studies have shown that even the color of a room can affect your creativity. A study published in Science found that people in blue rooms produced twice as many creative ideas as those in red rooms. So, designing a creative-friendly space, whether it's adding plants, using soft lighting, or having a clutter-free desk, can make a big difference in how you think. Bottom line: creativity isn't a chaotic force you have to chase down. You can design a system and environment that invite creativity to show up regularly. If you enjoyed these insights and want to explore more ways to unleash your creativity, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We have plenty more tips and strategies coming your way.